I think this is that time of year, Jen, where like parents start thinking about their juniors and college is looming, and they're like, what should we be doing now? So this is a good topic to cover today. So one of the first things I like to do with students who are juniors is to start tracking the activities they've been involved in. I know this may seem insignificant, but it actually is great preparation for the college application process. So I recommend that students keep a formal list of activities that they've been involved in, all the way from ninth grade to where they are currently, and a list of honors that they may have received along the way as well. And junior year is a great time to start this if they have not already. An Excel document will work, a Google Doc. Track what you did, what year you did it, how many hours a week you worked on it, how many weeks per year. These are all questions that the Common App asks as well. So if you get it documented now, it'll be very easy to fill out that section of the application later on. Now is also the time to seek leadership positions in any of the activities that students have been involved in for a couple of years. We really like to see students grow within organizations. So if they've been involved in something for a year or two, now's the time for them to look for roles in that activity that they can take on over the next year.
Yep. And also, we often say depth over breadth. So, dive
True.
into what, you've already done. Stay committed, look for leadership opportunities within the activities that you're already involved in, because that's going to, make you stand out even more on your
Sure.
applications.
I agree.
So another thing that juniors can start doing now is start building a college list and start planning college visits already. But before you start researching colleges, I always tell students just, identify your interests and your priorities. There's a lot of different things to consider when you're looking at a college. Academic programs, location, the size of the school, cost, campus life, and that's just a few things. There's a lot of different tools that you can use to help with your research, but understanding yourself first is the biggest part.
Mhm.
Okay. So you can start looking at, college websites. You can talk to your high school counselor, attend a college fair, and of course, maybe even meeting with college consultants like us to help narrow down that list and figure out maybe, some schools that would be the best fit for you. I always tell students it's important to build a balanced list. It's a great way to increase your chances of getting accepted. And what I mean by balanced list is, making sure that you have schools in all three categories, in a reach, match, and likely category, which will give you options. So when you start getting college acceptances, you'll kind of have an option of, where you may want to decide to go.
I agree. And I also tell students like once you have a list going, even if it's not a solid list, just one started, start taking tours. And that might even mean virtual tours at the beginning. You don't necessarily have to drive or fly to every college that's on your list. Start doing some things online. Take virtual tours of the campus, explore websites, and then start scheduling in-person school tours as well for the schools that you're interested in. This really helps you find the campus that is going to be the right fit for you. I don't think there's anything that beats a campus visit. So thinking now about what schools you might want to visit in the spring is a perfect time for juniors to start down that path. The next area that I want to concentrate on is career exploration. And I think more and more students are coming out of high school right now with an academic major selected as opposed to going undecided. And everybody's kind of in a different part of their journey, even as juniors, and whether they have selected a major for college or not. But if students I'm working with are open to it, I recommend that they take assessments. We have some that we use through Educational Connections called AchieveWorks. And I think they can actually be really fun, and students like taking them. It falls under personality, intelligences, learning and productivity. And I think the last one is skills. And students learn something about themselves. It helps me understand how to work with them best. But it also suggests possible academic majors and career paths. And I think that's really helpful to students. Sometimes it confirms an interest that they already have, and they say, oh, it looks like my skills do align with what I'm interested in. Or it helps them navigate that process of looking at different majors and deciding on one if they're feeling unsure at this time.
It's such a great tool. It's something, gosh, I wish we would have had back, back when we were in high school many, many moons ago. But my students love it and they find it so useful, especially the career section. And the parents get in on it too. And
Hmm.
it really does help, you figure out, is this what I really see myself doing down the line?
Right.
Um, there's also a lot of discussion right now about standardized testing. So, even though many schools are test optional, it's always a good idea for you to take either the ACT or the SAT at least one time. You just never know when you might need a score. And, sometimes test scores are used for more than just the admission process. Sometimes they need it for course placement or scholarships. So it's always good just to have at least one test. Um, the best time to take the SAT or the ACT is really spring of your junior year. By then, you most likely have completed the coursework that covers the material that's on the test. And also, it'll give you time to retest if you're not satisfied with your scores. You can take a test over the summer or even early fall if you need to. Um, I always tell students you really should prep for either the SAT or the ACT. You can take prep classes like the ones that we offer through Educational Connections. There are tons of practice tests online that you can look at. You can look at the ACT website or the College Board website. They have a lot of, there's even other test prep companies out there. Um, and, it's something that really, as a junior right now, you should consider starting if you haven't already.
I agree. We really, at this point, are recommending that students do test prep if they can this summer between their sophomore and junior year. And if you have not, which is okay, you still have plenty of time to do that. But you do want to be thinking about doing some test prep before those spring SAT or ACTs. The other thing, I don't know about you, Jen, but I feel pretty strongly that I recommend one-on-one test prep as opposed to group test prep because there are really two different options out there. For me, the one-on-one really allows a student to engage in the process, as opposed to just being one student in a class, and then also concentrate on the things that they need the most. For a student who's really strong in reading but might not be as strong in math, the counselor can concentrate primarily on math to help them bring that score up. So the one-on-one test prep for me has always been my preference if I'm asked.
For sure.
This is also the time of year. I have a couple juniors I'm working with that asked me just this week about what classes they should be taking their senior year. So January normally is that time that schools will start saying, okay, let's talk about course selection for the following year. So I have those conversations with the students I'm working with every January, asking what courses are available, what will they be enrolling in, what level classes, whether they be honors, AP, IB, dual enrollment, a lot of different choices, especially as you go into your senior year. And it's really important that students have good, strong coursework their senior year. Colleges view that senior year as a springboard into college courses. So they want to make sure you're prepared to take those college courses, and you need to show them that by taking a good course load your senior year. The fall schedule for senior year should be academically challenging courses, but it's also okay to add some classes that might help you explore your interests. There's a lot of schools that have like psychology, anatomy and physiology, engineering courses, those types of things. Absolutely fine to add in as well, because that's going to give you a stronger background for some of the majors you might be applying into.
For sure, for sure. Well, we like to keep these chats short and sweet. So if you would like more information on how to schedule a consultation with educational connections to see if working with a consultant like Renee and I, might help you, please visit the website at ectutoring.com. We're both taking juniors right now, as well as 8th through 10th graders, and would love to work with your students. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.